Okay. It's the mask, I don't know. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this regular board meeting to order tonight, September 15th, 2020 at 7 p.m. Kelly, please call roll.
Trustee Garcia.
Here.
Trustee Malone.
Here.
Trustee O'Sullivan.
Here.
Trustee Andreessen.
Here.
Trustee Frost.
Here.
Trustee Vela.
Present.
And President Skillman.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all. Thank you. Okay, proclamations. First one is Constitution Week. Sorry, Kevin, can you hear me? Okay, Constitution Week, September 17th through the 23rd, 2020. Whereas September 17th, 2020 marks the 233rd anniversary of drafting the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which it will commemorate, I can't speak, to the occasion. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States in America, designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, I, John Skillman, by virtue of the authority vested in me as president of the Village of Carpentersville, Illinois, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week, and urge all citizens to study the Constitution and reflect on the privilege of it being an American with all the rights and responsibilities which the privilege involves. Date and signed the Village of Carpentersville, Kane County, Illinois, this 15th day of September, 2020. Thank you. Okay. Excuse me. So the Village of Carpentersville proclamation proclaiming September 19th, 2020 as our Fox River Day, a watershed-wide celebration. And Trustee O'Sullivan will be discussing a little bit of information on that later tonight on our day that we're going to be having this weekend, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so whereas the Fox River was central to the lives of the Native Americans inhabiting the Fox River Valley in Wisconsin and Illinois, providing an abundance of food and water to wildlife for those native populations. And whereas the Fox River was essential to the lives of early settlers of the Fox River Valley, providing a source of water and power to mill the grains and feed those settlers. Saw the lumber to shelter those shelters and drive the early machinery which formed the commercial and industrial base that gave forth our community today. And whereas the Fox River once was a fine fishery and source of public water, became burdened with the uncontrolled discharge of industrial, commercial, and municipal waste, which the resulting population was threatened by health and welfare of all the populations of the Fox River area, including human and wildlife. Whereas sustained and increasingly diligent and effective efforts have made over and over the past century to reduce the elimination of pollution and change our river's natural shorelines. And whereas the Fox River has been largely freed from its burden of pollution, and once again has become a safe source of recreation and reliable public water supply, with its fish and wildlife population in clear recovery. And whereas the Village of Carpentersville recognizes the historic present and future value of this unique and precious natural resource to our community and all other communities beyond the Fox River Valley. Now, therefore, I, John Skillman, President of the Village of Carpentersville in Kane County, Illinois, declare the third Saturday of September 19th, 2020, shall be recognized it's our Fox River Day, and support events, public and private, that honor the celebration of life and well-being of the Fox River for us to share now and with the generations to come. Thank you. All right, I signed those, Kelly. Those are ready for you. Next item, no appointments. Public comment.
We do have one.
Chris,
Caius.
our King County Board member. Mr. Caius, welcome.
President Skillman and board members. Actually, I just wanted to touch base with you and ask if you, there were a couple topics, but as you're well aware of, I think you're probably updated by Eric here on our CAC committee, the CARES Act committee. If you had any questions about that or any concerns you wanted to address that I could take back, I'm not on the committee per se, but we're making progress and should be distributing funds shortly, which means not too, before the end of the year for sure. We had our KDOT meeting this morning, and we discussed the 2050 plan that they're working on for transportation for Kane County, which of course involves roads, county roads around here as well. So if you have input into that, I'm sure as part of your mayor's group you do, John. Also questions about that, I'd be happy to, or concerns, I'd be happy to take back. Transportation indicated that they're making good progress on the Long Meadow Parkway between 25 and the bridge, and they listed this morning that July 2021 would be a completion month for that project. And last but not least, the census, of course, you're aware of. I dropped a few little goodies off. You pick up a free pin. I think Eric's got them out over here. So
Bags.
also encourage everyone to sign up. Make sure that everybody gets signed up. That was all I had unless you have questions.
Any questions, anyone, on the CARES Act?
How's the county doing on the census?
How's the county doing on the
Yeah.
census? I think we're doing pretty good. I don't have the exact numbers on it, but it looks pretty good. We're catching back up a little bit. We do have areas of concern, I think, in Aurora, and I think up in this area, some a little bit in Elgin, some of the neighborhoods. You can check on the census.gov and pick out the zip codes that are having concerns. There's actually an interactive map that you can go right to.
Thank you.
Nobody's doing perfect on it, though. We're still behind, and COVID has definitely had an effect on the response. But hopefully we're getting, we've, of course, been extended till next year, so.
Yeah, I think they're going door to door now, right?
Yes, they are.
So that, hopefully that'll pick it up, some of the people. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item on our agenda is consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda will be acted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a trustee so requests, in which event then item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. So I'm looking for a motion for A through G.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
And for just a point of clarification, is that a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
Items A through G, right? Okay.
thank you.
And roll call, please.
Trustee O'Sullivan.
Yes.
Trustee Andreessen.
Yes.
Trustee Frost.
Yes.
Trustee Vela.
Yes.
Trustee Garcia.
Yes.
Trustee Malone.
Yes.
And President Skillman.
Yes, and motion carries to for the consent agenda to pass. Thank you. Next item, reports of managers and staff. Manager Johnson.
Thank you, President Skillman. Just a few items to update the board on tonight. Following up on our county board members' comments, we did file our CARES application funding request with the county last week. I am happy to announce through the hard work of all of our departments, combing through every expense, predicting future expenses, that we have been able to request and anticipate receiving the full $2.2 million that have been allocated to the village of Carpentersville. It was definitely a team effort with all departments really digging deep and getting creative where necessary, but we're confident in our proposal. We actually submitted even more than the allocated amount in case certain expenditures are knocked out by the committee or the auditing firm that determines what is eligible, so we do have a little bit of a buffer in expenses, so I am hoping that we will get the full allocated amount for the village.
How much did you submit?
It was closer to, I want to say, closer around 3.5. And and this is a combination of existing and future expenses. They did open up towards the end. The IRS released a supplementary, what could be counted, which greatly opened up the payroll items that could be captured. So that really was that pushes over the top. We were able to capture a lot more police and fire payroll, including benefits that were questionable to begin with. But the IRS said, no, you can definitely push with these. So
Good.
assuming Kane County agrees and their auditors and stuff, but we were staying up to date with every update, and we're revising up through the last day to make sure we were best positioned as we could be. Next item, I do want to talk about water bills a little bit. As you know, we haven't been doing shutoffs. Going through the accounts and talking with finance and what other villages are doing, my recommendation would be starting shutoffs only for those people who have $300 or more overdue. Our normal cutoff during non-COVID time was $100, plus that they have not reached out to the village to work up some payment plan. We are now approaching 6 months where some people have been ducking finance calls, and without any form of consequence, we just feel that they're going to let it ride as long as they can. Also, from talking with some of the agencies that provide funding for those in need or having problems with bills, a lot of them require a shut-off notice to trigger being able to seek and apply for some of the funding, especially the township. Of our 10,500 accounts, we are less than 200 that meet this description, so it is a very small amount. But unless there's strong objection from the board, I'd like to move forward under those criterias to try to start recouping some of the funds. We also run into an issue where eventually, if it's not paid, it's going to be very difficult for these people to ever get caught up. We're going to incur additional expenses if we have to have legal go lien the property, and could make future sales messy. So we just want to try to be ahead of that. We do plan on tagging all the doors before the shutoff, letting them know they have one final chance. If they get on a payment plan and stay current on the payment plan, we will not shut off even if they are exceeding that amount. But just wanted to bring that to your guys' attention so you're aware of that. And then the final thing is working with Senator Christina Castro's office in the state of Illinois. We do have the tentative dates for the COVID testing site. It will take place at our Public Works building. It'll be Friday the 25th, Saturday the 26th, and Sunday the 27th, with the hours being 9 to 5 each of those days. Originally, we had tried to get it at the Walmart. Walmart corporate wasn't going to allow it based on the sign-offs that the state wanted. We then tried to get the Meadowdale parking lot by the theater. Since it's a big parking lot, it's right by 25. Same thing, they were open to the concept, but when it came down to signing the insurance documents, they backed out. So we were able to step in. We're hoping that we get a good turnout that weekend.
Is that a weekend?
It is. It's a
Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Okay.
It would have worked, and I had worked with Kevin Gray. We would have made it work if they wanted to extend it longer into the week. And police and fire have been roped in case there's any traffic issues, but we'll be preparing for those testing days. The only other item, and I will save it for new business, it was a good day to be in the bond market, but I'll save that for the new business item.
Perfect. We're going to do it on a new business?
Yes.
Our introduction, okay. Yes, correct. All right, thank you. And we have no old business, so we'll go right into new business. So ordinance providing the issuance of a general bond obligation. So we're looking to discuss that now?
We could have I think there's a planned short presentation that the board could entertain before making a motion, which might be more appropriate.
Yeah, I would appreciate that, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Anthony, if you'd like to come up. Anthony's with Spear Financial, which was the firm that the board selected last summer to bring in as a new municipal financial advisor, and has helped oversee the process from beginning to end.
Thanks, Eric. Good evening, everybody. So, as mentioned, we took bids this morning on the competitive sale of the village's 2020 general obligation refunding bonds. Just a refresher, these bonds were refunding the village's sorry. These bonds were refunding the village's taxable general obligation bond series 2010B, which were issued as taxable Build America bonds. So you received a 35% interest rate subsidy for issuing those taxable at the time, which was a program offered in 2009 and 2010. We are able to refinance those bonds at tax-exempt interest rates and achieve pretty significant savings, which I'll go into in just a minute. So through a competitive sale process, we received a total of 14 bids from 4 bidders, with the best bid coming from Huntington Securities out of Chicago, Illinois. The winning bid was a 1.33. After we resized the issue, that was a 1.3554%, was the final true interest cost. So remarkable interest rates. We're hitting the market. Really fantastic time to be in. And I'll go into some of the other factors that resulted in that great rate. In front of you, there's a packet that looks like this. If you go to the first page, or the second page, I should say, you'll see a summary of the bids that came in. The demand was good. I would say that the grouping between all the bids was very tight, so that you got a fair offer for the bonds at that 1.33%, which was the best bid from Huntington. The savings as a result of this refinancing was in gross debt service over $2,218,000 in savings. On a present value basis, that was over $2,095,000, or 16.5% of PV savings. And just to give you kind of a frame of reference, a lot of people will move on a refunding if it's over 3%. That's usually a minimum threshold. So 16.5% is just remarkable. And those numbers are net of the expected subsidy from the Build America bonds. So they take into account the fact that you would have been receiving that 35% from the federal government. The last thing I'll mention about the structure is there's a page in front of you that looks like this, a few pages in. When we first started talking about the structure of these bonds, we looked at a few options. One was just taking level savings up and down the curve from 21 through 2030 when these bonds matured, the 2010B bonds. We also looked at smoothing out that debt service pattern, which was ultimately the scenario that we chose to do. And then the third option was extending the maturity in order to keep debt service closer to about $2 million a year for that levied amount of debt service. Because interest rates have fallen so far between when we first started talking about this to now, we've actually accomplished both scenario 2 and 3 with not having to extend the term of these bonds. So you've kept the same term of the bonds. The bonds still mature in 2030. And we've not only smoothed out the debt service, but got it really close to that $2 million per year number. So your levied debt service will drop from just about 2.2 million in 2020 to 2 million from 2021 to 2030. So really incredible result. Hit the timing just right. It's been a pleasure to work with the village and Eric and Mike on this, and Tanya on this financing. So happy to answer any questions.
Anybody? Questions?
Sounds good.
Good work. A little luck.
Are there other bonds in future years we can do similar magic with?
Recommend, or can we do that? Or?
Yeah, so I'll not at the moment. There may be in the future. So they changed the tax law in 2017, 2018 to eliminate the ability to advance refund bonds. So that's the ability to do a tax-exempt financing and put the money in escrow for longer than 90 days. So that forces you to do what we did here and wait until you get closer to that optional call date, which the optional call date on the 2010 bonds we're refunding is in December of this year. So you're forced to play the waiting game at times. So at this point, there's not another refinancing, but in the future, there may be opportunities depending on where the market is. And these bonds will be callable in 28.
So our rating was good then, they obviously,
Absolutely. So we went to Standard & Poor's as part of this process. The rating was assigned at a AA minus with a stable outlook. So, and that AA rating led us to the opportunity to go out with a competitive sale today and get the great interest that we had. And the rating report is attached to this packet as well.
so the minus doesn't mean that we're close to losing that, right?
No, and actually, one of the comments from the woman from S&P who did the rating call with us said, but for the national outlook of COVID and everything, we probably would have seen a step up, but that S&P is taking a national approach of, with the uncertainty of COVID, they're being much more conservative than they have been in rating people in the past.
Yeah, that's very true. They're just, they're trying to be cautious based on the fact that nobody really understands what next year is going to look like and what revenues could potentially look like. No, the minus does not mean you're going to lose that rating. In fact, the stable outlook represents that they believe you're going to keep it. It's just a gradation of the different AA ratings. It goes minus, AA, and then AA plus.
Okay. Great news. Everybody good?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so with that,
Great job.
yeah, and audit and finance too, we did a good job, or you did a good job of chairing that discussion, and it worked out. Excellent.
Sometimes,
So we are still waiting a motion on that item.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
I'm
Just-
getting there.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry.
So we're looking for a motion, please, to approve our ordinance.
I'll motion to approve the ordinance providing for
second
the
that.
issuance of general bond.
Motion.
Okay, we were,
Just for formality's sake, can I read the entire thing for the
yes,
record?
sir.
Okay. It would be an ordinance providing for the issuance of general obligation refunding bond series 2020 of the Village of Carpentersville, Kane County, Illinois, for the purpose of refunding the village's taxable general obligation bonds, series 2010B, Build America bonds, direct payment, providing for the levy and collection of a direct annual tax sufficient for the payment of the principal of and interest on said bonds, and authorizing the sale of said bonds to the purchaser thereof. If trustee would be so kind as to adopt what I just said as the ordinance that we're moving on.
Yeah, as council has indicated, I motion to approve
Yes,
as outlined.
thank you. And
And I will second that.
seconded by
motion,
trustee-
From the council.
so we have a motion by trustee O'Sullivan, second by trustee Frost. Roll call, please, Kelly.
Trustee O'Sullivan,
Yes.
Trustee Andreessen,
Yes.
Trustee Frost,
Yes.
Trustee Vela,
Yes.
Trustee Garcia,
Yes.
Trustee Malone,
Yes.
and President Skillman.
Yes, motion carries, approving our ordinance. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is trustee and committee reports. And trustee Vela, first.
Thank you. Good evening. I would like to acknowledge two very special events. Today and tomorrow, our residents from El Salvador and Mexico are celebrating very special days. These are special days of independence and freedom for our residents. I just want to say felicidades a México y El Salvador en su independencia. That is it.
Oh, grito, right?
Sí, viva México.
Tonight, okay. All right, thank you. And trustee Andreessen.
I don't have anything today.
Okay, trustee O'Sullivan?
Well, as President Skillman indicated earlier, this Saturday, we're having a Fox River cleanup in conjunction with the Friends of the Fox. The local Rotary Club, Carpentersville Morning, is organizing it. It'll be held Saturday from 1 to 4 behind Auto Engineering at 2 East Main. We've been granted permission to use the parking lot as a staging area, so the powerhouse building behind Auto at 2 East Main from 1 to 4, so all are welcome. Bring appropriate footwear for cleaning up the river side, and we'll have gloves and bags and we got some assistance from the village.
Public Works?
To help us. Public Works was kind enough to offer to pick up tools and bags and a truck to haul away whatever we collect. I don't suppose we'll be pulling out a 57 Buick from the river or anything that big, but
Tires,
36?
yeah, 56 maybe, if we get lucky.
bicycles?
Bicycles, I don't think we'll be pulling out anything that big, but whatever we pick up, they'll be nice enough to haul away. So all are welcome to help us on Saturday, the 19th, from 1 to 4 at 2 East Main, behind the Auto Building in Carpentersville. Thanks.
Thank you.
Will that be promoted on the Carpentersville Today page?
Yeah, it's on Carpentersville today.
I think it's on there, right?
the Rotary
Is it
Club
up there?
website. It's on,
I had to look today.
it's
Yeah.
on the Friends of the Fox website. Yep.
Yeah, we're trying to get a lot of people out there. It's different areas of the river, right? Correct? Or-
Well, we'll be starting from Otto North and then on the east side of the river, and if we get enough people, we'll dispatch some people to the west side of the river.
Okay, and they're doing it all the way down to Batavia, Geneva,
Yeah.
St. Charles.
Yeah, in fact, I had some inquiries from other Rotary clubs that come help us from off Fox River Rotary Club, so it's nice.
Great. Good news. Thank you. And the water level's low right now, so I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, if there's any dead bodies, they'll be exposed.
Yeah,
should be
we
able
could,
to-
thank you. Right. Perfect. Trustee Garcia.
I just want to thank staff for great job on the CARES Act application. We needed it. Anything that comes in free, get it. That's it.
Good news, yes. Great comment. Thank you. Trustee Malone?
I have nothing today.
Trustee Frost?
Early voting starts on September 24th at the Kane County Clerk's Office in Geneva and at Seaville, at Station 93 on October 19th. I want to say thanks to all the departments for the CARES Act work. That was well received. That was a great job. That was very important. Thanks to Senator Castro and the governor's office for reaching out to us to help us with the COVID site and all the phone calls back and forth and texts, emails. I also drove by Carpentersville Park tonight on the way to the meeting. Everybody enjoying the park, out playing, beautiful day. Looked like they were practicing social distancing and enjoying the parks. That's all I have.
Great, and I echo what all the trustees said. Thank you, everyone. So I did receive a email last night from, I believe Eric, the manager Johnson also did, from Lake Marion, thanking us for all the hard work, that presentation we had last meeting about the water leaking into their sewage leaking, correct, into the,
It never actually leaked.
Right.
The important
or
part.
almost
We caught
leaked.
it, yes.
Yes, thank you for reminding me that. Almost leaked, so they took care of that. And we got great comments from them, so. And you're going to follow up on the other question they had on that email, correct? Or we could talk about it, yeah. Which the board will be probably involved someday about, they were looking at some property.
So we own a piece of property off of Williams, and I don't remember what the other cross street is, but years ago we had demoed something, and we've been in receivership of basically open property. They are interested in acquiring that property so their residents can have an egress entrance into the park. From talking with Public Works, it's something that we'd be open to as long as we can get easements recorded, to make sure that we have access to the sewer line. But considering it's not actually in Carpentersville's jurisdiction, and all we're doing is maintaining it, staff recommendation would be to, transfer it over so they can use it for their conservation purposes.
Yeah, I think it's,
So it's early in the talks, but, that might be coming down the pipe here in a little bit.
yeah, and just, we wanted to publicly thank Lake Marion Water, who was it that found the problem that we almost had?
I can't think of their full name. It's a governmental body. It's the Lake Marion Conservation Water District or something.
Yeah, like the secretary of the board or the
Yes, he's
chair,
been very,
vice chairman or something.
He's been very, he's the treasurer. He's been very helpful. He walks it frequently. They've been Over the last couple of years since he's joined the board, they've gotten more active, which has been helpful. It's how we found out about this before it actually broke. They've done a lot of tree clearing the last few years, and they're actually sitting on some funds, and Kevin Gray and engineering are actually helping point them in the direction of like OSLIT or other grants that they might try to apply for. So they've been appreciative of some of the guidance our staff's been giving them on that.
Yeah,
Hopefully
so-
they can leverage that for federal funds.
They're very proactive over there. They're really, we haven't had that cooperation, to be honest, before with Lake Marion. But since we've been working with our water, just everybody knows that they get our water, Carpentersville water now, and they're enjoying that. And it's working out, I think, pretty well.
Yes.
And ever since then, we've had a great relationship, I think, working relationship, and this proves it more. I mean, we're looking out for each other, so it's good. What else was I going to talk about? Last night, we had an issue at La Illusions. Trustee Vale and I were involved with, and Ben, in our water department, and a lot of people were involved. So in the end, it was a water problem at their facility, at their complex. So we took care of it, or they took care of it. They had a sewer guy out and cleaned it out, and we had our guys there, water guys, and jetting the area out, the sewers, and everything in the end went well. They were very thankful for everybody coming out and spending their time, and just wanted to, Francisco, what's his last?
Francisco Realsola. I heard from Francisco today. He's one of our business owners in town. Very grateful, and Kevin Realsola are very grateful for you, President Skillman, coming out. Excellent service. They appreciate the support, and they're very glad that as you came along and came to look at the issue, everything was resolved, and
Thank you.
just they're very excited about being able to stay open, and your professionalism was excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And we want to work together with them. It's a business, one of our great businesses that we want to, obviously, we don't want to ever shut them down. And I think Kevin Gray and Ben are going to talk to the property owners and talk about a program to jet out their system. So we don't want that problem in the middle of winter or on Christmas night or something like that. Or, so we have that, talking to Kevin, we have that, agreement that they have to be jetted out a lot of properties in town because we have older systems, in some of the, business areas. So it's all good, all positive. So that's very good. Otherwise, District 300, we didn't really talk about that, but just so everybody's on the same page. It looks like in middle of October, we're going to be going back to school part-time, I believe. We can't wait for the little kids to get back in school because they're suffering. So, they can't sit in front of a computer and concentrate all day when they're 5 years old. So it's tough. And it's tougher for the parents, I know that. I'm living it as a grandparent with my grandson. So it's difficult. It's affecting everybody's lives, jobs and everything. So it's important that we stay supportive, but we need to get our kids back in school, as safely as possible, of course. But I think we're doing a pretty darn good job in Kane County, and especially here at Carpentersville now. We're trying to, our numbers are, I don't know exactly where they're at, Chief, maybe you do, but. So we're getting there, but I think we're doing better every day. And let's just keep our village moving forward, okay? Next item on the agenda. Closed session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120-2-C-1 to discuss performance and compensation of specific employees, and Section 2-C-21 for semi-annual review of closed session minutes. And motion, please.
I'll motion.
I will second.
Trustee Garcia, Trustee Vela, a motion, second by Trustee Vela, and voice is fine?
Roll call.
We should roll call.
Oh, roll call, I'm sorry. Haven't done it in so long, so.
Trustee Frost.
Yes.
Trustee Vela.
Yes.
Trustee Garcia.
Yes.
Trustee Malone.
Yes.
Trustee O'Sullivan.
Yes.
Trustee Andreessen,
Yes.
and President Skillman.
Yes, thank you. We'll be going in closed session and then coming back for further business. Thank you.